All right, well, welcome everybody. Today is March 8th, 2023. And in this episode of the Marketing Notary Hour, we're going to talk about LinkedIn. And I brought on a special guest, Jamie Heidt. I've known him for, I don't know, probably going on 2 years now. We connected just because of our notary connection. He took a class from me, my Google Business Profile class, and that's kind of where we met, and we've been kind of hanging out on Zoom quite a bit together for a long time. So I'm really happy to bring him over and have him talk about LinkedIn. So let me tell you just a little bit about Jamie, so you have a little bit of background if you've never met him. Jamie Heidt is a motivated entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in the business industry. He's known for his ability to solve problems, lead, mentor new colleagues, skill he's honed throughout his extensive career for establishing organizations. Throughout his professional journey, Jamie has been dedicated to helping others succeed. He's consistently gone the extra mile to provide guidance and mentorship to his peers, which I can agree to that. I am a recipient of that. And he has talent for identifying areas for improvement and implementing practical solutions, which he is. In recent years, Jamie's been focused primarily on growing his business through LinkedIn, which he has become an expert in utilizing to drive growth and success. He is passionate about educating other business owners like us notaries on leveraging the platform to achieve their objectives. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how powerful LinkedIn is. And so I'm glad you're here because you're probably interested in how to take advantage of that. As a resourceful entrepreneur and problem solver, Jamie always is searching for innovative ways to improve his operations. Deeply committed to supporting his clients and delivering excellent results makes him an invaluable asset to organizations he has been involved with. So all of that, I have to say, I totally agree with. My relationship with Jamie has been top notch, and I'm really super glad to have him here tonight. So Jamie, hey, you want to kind of maybe do some other introductions and other things you want to add on to that, and then we'll get right into the session here.
Yeah. Jeff is coming up on camera. Hey, Jeff. Jeff, Jim. There's all kinds of J's in the room. Hey, and a profile on paper isn't really who I am. I am a type of person that I'm out there to help people understand what they can do to better themselves. And I'm there in the trenches with you. I'm not someone who wants to be over and above. You know, they say a true leader is someone sitting in the trenches with you. And then that's the type of management skills I've acquired with my 20 plus years in corporate world. And I'm just one of the gang, you know, and in teaching and talking are two things I can do very well because I can really talk a lot. And since I drink beer, can really hold down the fort here tonight. Anyways, you know, LinkedIn has been something that's been missed by a lot of people. And I always ask a group of people, how were you introduced to LinkedIn? And and without everybody having to come off mic, I probably can answer what's probably running through your head. You were told when the internet started, LinkedIn was the place to put your resume, to go out and start looking for jobs, because that's where the only place that people are going to look for you to find a job in the future. Well, that is true, and it's still true, but LinkedIn is actually a Microsoft Corporation owned company. 2016, they got a very big purchase from Microsoft, and Microsoft has taken this platform to where it is today. I haven't looked it up in a while. I think they're at 900 million members. About 80% of that, believe it or not, is outside the US. So keep that under your thought process as you're trying to grow your business and looking for connections, because it's not just the persons in your own neighborhood. It's the world. And the world's at your fingertips. And this is definitely true for that. My experience where I learned how to do LinkedIn was corporate world. You know, how many people work for corporate where you could put in facebook.com into the URL into your address field, and you couldn't go outside the network to other social media.
That's
You know,
true.
the only one that I could get to was LinkedIn. So that was my place to get the news and, you know, browse and understand what's going on in certain businesses and what was going on in certain people's lives, industry news, and so forth and so on. So that's one of those things that is stuck with me. Like, you have to take what you're given, which was LinkedIn was the only options, and I went ahead and used it. I always tell people you have to dust it off in order to get it to work. And, you know, Jim has been definitely the recipient of a lot of conversations over Zoom, via chats, and so forth and so on. And we've talked about different features and different things that are under the hood with this beautiful platform. And I have to say is that Jim blows me out of the water when you look side by side when it comes to analytics, and you're looking at his impressions and how many people see the posts he does. Does everybody in this room follow Jim on LinkedIn? How many times do you open up your LinkedIn middle of the day and the first or second post is Jim? He is all over the content posting in that, and it's good quality stuff. And that right there, folks, just tells you that LinkedIn is the place to show what you do for your business, but it's also a platform for you to also shine as a person and create that credibility and become a thought leader within your industry. So
Yeah.
I think Jim's got questions. I think this is gonna be
Jamie, that's awesome. And the only reason I have flipped over to LinkedIn is because of Jamie. I mean, he like turned the light on for me. I was like, oh, I have been missing it here. And, you know, this is where my customers are. Facebook, Instagram, no, my customers aren't there. Lawyers and attorneys and escrow officers, all these professionals that you want to go after are not like, I don't know. Maybe there's some controversy there about, you know, I think my attorney's on TikTok. Well, I think my attorney is on LinkedIn. So I'm putting my money on LinkedIn. So I've learned a lot from Jamie. And man, my LinkedIn profile has blown up after I've just like implemented these things that Jamie talks about. So Jamie, let's dive right into it. And folks, when there's questions, if you don't mind like throwing them down in the chat, we'll have Q&A at the end. And if I feel like, hey, that's a rabbit hole, we're gonna push that to you know, towards Q&A, then we'll do that. But we're here to answer questions and so forth. And so let's go ahead and dive right into the questions here. So number one.
Hang on, Jim.
Yeah.
Everybody's posting their links to their profiles.
Oh, the profiles, yeah.
And during this, we'll do some live share, and we'll talk about how to do a couple things really quick, and maybe show you stuff too. So
perfect.
And we'll gift for you at the end. So
right.
Stick around.
Hey, we want boots on the ground kind of stuff, and this is what Jamie's going to offer. Of course, he can't offer you his full course here, but this is going to give you a taste of what kinds of things that you can use LinkedIn for. And man, you gotta bite on this one. So let's go ahead and dive right into it here. So number one, what are the benefits, Jamie, of using LinkedIn for small businesses? Like a notary. Let's be very specific, notary.
So for anything, for notaries or for any type of corporation, what's the one thing that you're always looking at? Your brand. Your brand is your biggest part of your business. And if your brand isn't being seen, the visibility, it's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get traction. Now, people always ask me on the backside of that, well, people know I'm a notary, but you know, and I get work through word of mouth. Well, that's great. Those are great avenues to get that. But in the long run, how are you filling your pipeline? How are you going to continue to feed people to see you on a regular basis so they are aware of this, all the services that your brand offers, your business offers. Jim touched on it a little bit, lead generating. Now, people have asked me, well, how much money have you made off your leads? I don't count it as money. I count it as relationships. And anybody that's ever been in the business world knows that one of the biggest things is building relationships, building rapport, doing all that stuff. Well, how many of us go into an office 9 to 5? I'm sure there's some of you who still do W-2 and you do this notary on the side, which is absolutely great. But if you are stuck behind a screen at a desk and running out to appointments, going back and forth, how are you going to build those relationships? You're going to go knock on doors. You're going to you send some emails, maybe some mailers. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm more on the cusp of the world of let algorithms and let technology help us. If I throw out Chat GTP, that should really resonate with you, because we're at a tipping point of a huge change in our lives with AI. So keep that in mind. But Jim said it, if the people that you're looking for, escrow officers, if you're looking for signing services. But here's the thing. Do you know, when you go knocking on the door of an escrow office, who the person is in that building that makes those decisions? Is that person sitting at the front desk? It's probably a receptionist, right? But I always called that person, the gatekeeper. How do you get out and around the gatekeeper in 2023? Electronically, email. You can find that information on LinkedIn. The other thing is professional network. So we talk about building a relationship, building out your professional network is also very important. We're all notaries. We all have that in common, but I'm sure if we match our resume bullet to bullet point, we all, as on a professional level, probably have a lot of skills and a lot of things under our belt that we all have in common. But again, LinkedIn allows us to take a peek at those, because that should be listed in your profile of your skill set, in your about sections, and those type of things. Those are the keywords. I don't want to steal Jim's thunder when it comes to Google My Business, but LinkedIn is very much the same when it comes to keywords. Keywords are very important. And I think Jim's class, everybody here has taken Jim's class, knows that keywords that you use on Google My Business should also be the same keywords that you use, let's say LinkedIn, let's say your Facebook business page, and so forth and so on. So that's going to help build that professional network, because it's just not looking for clients to do notarizations for. It's also building this so we can network. And if someone calls me, say, hey, I need an apostille, can you run down to Trenton? Can you do that? Absolutely, because I'm 30 minutes away. I can do that. So that networking part of LinkedIn is huge.
Hey, Jamie, can I just interrupt you real quick and talk about, okay, you talked about generating leads. And, I think there's a lot of us that, like, we have a bunch of these things. Let me pull one out here. I have one right on my desk. Look at this. Well, we have a bunch of these things, like cards that you collect from escrow offices. What do you do with them besides put them in your folder over here? Personally, and I think this goes along, Jamie, wouldn't you agree? Like, if you're visiting people, professionals in the space that you want to do business with, you try to connect with them on LinkedIn.
Yeah, definitely. How many of you, I don't know, who has kids, who has a new teacher comes into the school, and I've heard, people do research on people, and they don't just go to the internet, they go to LinkedIn, because chances are, out of almost 900 million people, I would think that maybe they're on LinkedIn. It might be an old, outdated profile. It might be updated. You just don't know. But I mean, those are the types of things that LinkedIn has also been used for. Again, it's keeping those contacts and that data for your pipeline so you can sell them. So when you when you go and knock on doors and you do your marketing, you have a name to go and a face to go with that. And you go, hey, I'm here to see Paula. Is Paula here? who are you? And well, I'm a new notary in the area, blah, blah, blah. And at least now you've broken that ice. That ice is not as hard to chip through because you've given that person a name, and it's more of a personalized type situation where people are more friendly to give you access to that person. I touched base on it, thought leadership. So publishing articles, sharing valuable insights and advice, and engaging relevant discussions can establish yourself as a thought leader within your industry. How many people have seen Jim post articles on LinkedIn? Those articles they don't only give you information and lead you to that or the clients he's looking for, they're also driving impressions to get in front of more of those decision makers. So keep that in mind. And if a decision maker reads an article that resonates with them that you wrote and posted, the chances of them resharing, reposting, or commenting on that article is great. And then what happens is that person's network also can start seeing that information. So you got to remember, it's just because we're connected with doesn't mean you're going to stay within just your network. You can bubble outside your own network and use the CEO of one of the biggest title companies, Old Republic. So you just don't know who you're going to touch and see, but they need to understand that you understand the industry, and articles and posts such as that can actually help them see that you are the person for them to do that work for them.
Right.
Keep that.
Right. That's awesome. So this kind of leads into the next question I have for you, Jamie, is like, well, we have these ideas like, increasing your brand visibility, which you covered, generating leads and understanding who your lead is when you go knock on a door. That's an awesome thing to kind of break the ice with. And then, and also building your professional network. So like I showed you, I've got a card to someone here. It's like, I want to connect with this realtor. And I picked up his card. Let's connect with him on LinkedIn and send him a message and get a conversation going with him. You are now transforming a piece of paper into something that is like super valuable to get these guys into your network so that when you're posting, they're seeing you, right? And then Jamie also talked about, establishing that thought leadership, being a leader in your community on the subject matter that you are an expert in, which is most of us are either notaries, we do apostille work, fingerprinting, wedding officiants. All these things are just great opportunities to get, your brand in front of your client. So now let's kind of transition a little bit. Let's talk about what are some of the tips for building a strong LinkedIn network. I mean, this is where the rubber starts to hit the road. Is like, okay, I got LinkedIn, now what? So what, right? So would you dive into what are some of the tips to building a strong LinkedIn network?
Absolutely. So as you're talking there, what I'm doing is, those of you who dropped your link in the chat, I'm looking at your profile. So, I think everybody's taken a course of two on LinkedIn and knows that one of the biggest things for your to be visible is your picture, right? It's your profile picture. Believe it or not, a professional looking picture like Jeff. Look at Jeff. Jeff's always got a shirt and tie on. Always looking professional. I tell the story about when I worked in banking, and when we would call from department to department, so we can authenticate that we're truly talking to actual employee, not a person trying to scam the bank. We would use a system called Connect Us, where if I was placing the outbound call to another call center, I would generate a 6-digit code, give that person a code, would put it in the system on the other end, which would then verify that, yes, truly I am an employee of the bank. And we could connect our LinkedIn profiles to that profile at work. And one day I pulled up this profile and it was a picture of a woman making out with a horse.
What?
I mean, I get it. I get it. You're an animal lover. I'm an animal lover. You like horses. That's great. But the horse's tongue's on her cheek and she's kissed. I got the puckered lips. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, you're working for one of the biggest banks in the world, and this is the profile picture you have. Like, okay, that says a lot. But you know, it's also consistency with that picture, folks. You know, if you're using a headshot, and the headshot you saw at the beginning is the same headshot that I use on all my social media. It needs to be updated. I think I put on some more COVID weight, and my beard has maybe gotten a little grayer, but that's about it. You got to look like what you look like today in the picture, not something from 20 years ago from a wedding you went to or something along those lines.
Oh, dear.
So we talk about connecting to relevant. You have to keep laughing at that, right? You have to connect to relevant professionals in the industry. So you know, it's not just the executive branch; it's everybody within the industry. You want to be able to touch and save profiles and connect with folks throughout the industry that you're prospecting, because that person could get promoted one day. They are the person that you're going to work with side by side. They're the ones that can actually advocate for you for generating additional work for you. Keep in mind when you are using your LinkedIn profile to reach out to these industry professionals and such, you want to interact with them and their posts, you know, engage on others and the content. So it's not just scroll past, stop and look and scroll past. Take time to like. There's a like button, love button, celebrate button. Put the emoji in there. If it resonates with you, absolutely make a comment. But here's my tip: 2-word comments. That's great. Is not gonna cut it. The algorithm is looking for you to interact. And one thing, I don't know if any other courses have told you, it's a long game. It's a long content posting. It's not just 1 or 2 sentences. The algorithm really likes you to give up as much information about your content or whatever you're posting, so it doesn't seem like it's spammy. Because the algorithm, folks, is always looking for spammy first, regardless of how well you do. Jim is a much better poster than I am, does it much more frequently than I do, but his content and his posts get weighed every single time he hits that post button, just as much as someone like myself or someone that doesn't post a lot of content, because the system is looking to see, all right, is this good content? Yep, there's a lot of characters in that paragraph. There's a lot of good information. I'm going to start allowing to share to the next group of people. So, you know, don't take the time to answer, you know, and make sure it's more than 5 words. That's my tip. Make sure it's more than 5 words.
Yeah, I think that's really important, Jamie, that people, this is like a nugget. Guys, write that one down. If you don't do anything else, you should be like, that's gold. Engage with your audience, engage with the people that you want business with.
And I'm going to use Jim and Jeff, because Jeff posted something not just about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago, and Jim commented on it. He did it. Hey, great information. So it was very short, but he added another sentence to the end of it, and it's more than the five words. So he was acknowledging it was good information, but he also said what he was actually getting out of that post. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And you know, it's also a way to also reward those of us that are always out there in the trenches trying to generate our thought leadership, we're trying to drive our business forward. Stop and take the time for someone in this room and comment on their posts. You know, if you resonate, even if it's something that doesn't quite help them out, you know, give them a few words in there, give them 5 words or more, and see what happens, you know. But it's also going to show the algorithm, the system's also going to show you show you as someone who is interactive. So your chances of being bubbled to the top and so forth and so on, your content is greater to be seen more. How many people participate in LinkedIn groups? Put a 1 in the chat. I want to see this. How many of you follow groups? Put a 1 in the chat.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So if here's Jim, you can say this is another nugget. So if you're in front of an industry, you're looking for title companies. So we know that One Republic is a gigantic company, right? Hundreds of employees. If One Republic joins a professional group and they happen to have that professional group is on LinkedIn, if you're posting content to your personal page or your business page or both, you should be doing both actually. So if we can talk about that. You can also take that link when you post it. And if it's industry related, like I did a post just prior to the class about ChatGPT and how it's going to change title insurance. It's because that's a very manual title searches and all that, still very, very manual. Anybody ever worked in a title search? I've done title search years ago as a temp employee. It's very, very time consuming and tedious. AI is going to change the industry, right? So in that post, I also tagged some local title companies. But if there's a group for AI in title industry, I want to get involved with that and make that same post in that group. Because if there's 30,000 people in that group, your post is going to be seen by a large percentage of those people. I want to say 30,000, right? There's 30,000 people. 30,000 people should like me and follow me. That's how I'd like to see it happen, but it doesn't. But you get a larger audience. So if you only have 300, 400, 500, 1,000, 1,200 connections versus 30,000, the scales tip in your favor, right? It really, really, really take your time at searching for groups, join groups. There's notary groups out there. There's title groups. There's even a hobby. If you got a hobby, if someone likes to quilt or knit or that, those groups are out there. It's just not always business. I want to make sure people understand that LinkedIn is very on the professional level, but as a professional, we all have hobbies. I like to garden. I like to dig in the dirt. I like that. My dog, I like spending time with it. There's all kinds of groups in there. And if you can expand your network simply by joining groups and making posts within those groups, most of the work is done for you. You're not going to be spinning your wheels sitting there for 3 hours trying to think of what content I'm going to post for this week on my LinkedIn page for my business. You can do one good post and get a lot of traction out of groups. And I think I beat that into the ground because I can't. It's true. Jim uses low-hanging fruit. They're low-hanging people. You can get a ton of traction out of groups. So keep that.
I just think about it. That's where all an attorney group that does trust or family law or escrow and title groups. Oh my gosh, they're all right there. That's right. Where our customers are, right?
Absolutely.
Like, share, and comment.
Right. And then the chances of someone following you, now we can get into that. There's two different things that can happen on your profile: follow or connect. You really want to connect with people because it grows your network. Follow. If you click the follow button of someone, you're going to see their posts and their content. They're not going to see yours. Just keep that in mind. But it's a way in, because then you have everybody that follows you. LinkedIn will show you how many followers you have. And then what you can do is use those followers as, hey, send out a message on LinkedIn, said, hey, I really like to connect with you. It seems like we have a lot of the same interests or the same industry. So you can try to build your network off your followers. So keep that in mind.
Hey, you know what? That brings up a question I wanted to ask you, Jamie, and this is kind of off, but who should we be connecting to? Should we connect just to anybody that we can, or is there a strategy behind who we're connecting with?
So the strategy is, and this is, I will speak from the terms and conditions of LinkedIn, for your protection and for your well-being, you should only follow people you really truly know. Now, I know a lot of these faces and a lot of these names that I see on the screen. I haven't met all of you in person, but it doesn't make sense for me to not interact with you on LinkedIn and connect with you, because again, we're trying to build a professional network. So that goes hand in hand. And Jeff, if I can make a comment on Jeff had an incident where someone sent him an invite and was messaging him. And when I looked at the profile, when this was always happening, it was a fake profile. It happens. And that's why they say only connect with people you know. You know, it's just like Facebook, especially now Facebook. I can't stand the automatic Facebook Messenger group thing they put together now. And then people try to get, it's just, that happens. You just got to be on your toes.
Well, let me kind of maybe go a little more. Let me re-ask my question. I mean, is it better? I think it's better. Would you agree to connect with, like, focus on escrow and title, focus on the vertical of customer that you're going after to get the greatest traction out of, not just neighbor down the road because he's your neighbor, but attorney because he does trust, and you want trust documents.
So yeah, you're right in that aspect. Do your verticals. Do escrow officers? We're looking at title officers. We're looking for admins. We're looking for post closers. We're looking for probate attorneys. We're looking for anything and everybody that can help generate a lead. We're looking for the leads that can generate into a business, which equals dollar signs, right? And that's what you want to do. But as a notary, it's just not knowing those folks. Shouldn't we know also maybe superintendents and principals of schools, school right? Reason being is because PTA might have an event and they need stuff notarized for a field trip, and get your name in there. Senior living centers, that type of thing. It's got to think outside the box. Who can you get in front of that might go, oh, Jamie's a notary. I can reach out to him. Right. For a couple of weeks ago, text me in the morning. She goes, hey, you're a notary. My friend needs something notarized. Can you notarize? I said, I'm getting ready to leave. I gotta go. I've got an appointment. Where's your friend live? Around the corner. I said, have her come over to your house. We can do that. So, but the friend didn't know I was a notary. But guess what? The friend called me later down the road because when she ran out to the bank to get something done, she didn't have her husband in tow. So, it was one of those situations. But, if that was another word of mouth. But my friend is part of the PTA of the school. So that was what part of this was. So now she knows that I got a mouthpiece inside the school that actually can say, hey, I got someone I can call and bring them over to help you out. So
that's awesome.
Got to think outside the box of who your customers are. And I think for me, I'm going to say most people are my customers. Real estate agents, real estate agents are told from their companies that this is what you're going to use for your loan officer. This is going to be used for title. And they're locked in because usually they all are subsidiaries of the same company, right? But there is no rules. There is no law that states that a real estate agent can't bring their own notary to all their closings. I've got one of those. I do that for her. And she left the company that I was with, but she still uses the title company for her closings because they don't have someone. So I'm still with Layla as she moved on over to Caldwell. So she's also promoting me as well. So yes, Jim, your verticals, definitely stay within your verticals, but also bump outside of those because you never know who you might touch. Right. And they know that could be the next $1,000 order. You never know.
Well, let's move to content. What you think is like high quality content? What's the strategy there?
So I touch based on LinkedIn, like long form. So think articles length, blog post length type posts. How many of you here will truly read long 1,000-word posts? Not me. I'm going to take my hand down. It gets to be a little, we're all human. We like to skim, right? So it's important to, with your comments, with your posts, make sure you fill your paragraph and your sentences with so much information that it does look, it's still going to be kind of a long form, and it's still going to hold people's attention. And what's really nice is LinkedIn, like a lot of platforms are now doing, read times. It will tell you how long it's going to read that post in that article. So the one I did on ChatGPT and title insurance, it says 2 minutes, estimated 2-minute read. And I probably, even though I posted it, would I stop and read all of it? Probably not. But here's a cheat. Here, I'll give you a cheat. So let's say you have a paragraph that has 3 or 4 sentences in it. Take those sentences and group them together. We'll use 4 because it's easier to divide. 2 sentences. The next 2 sentences are another paragraph. Guess what you're doing? You're using up character space within the long form algorithm. Not saying it's going to work all the time, but it's easier to read.
Right. You can scan
The other
it.
thing, yeah, it's easier to scan. So break it up for them. So even if you have 2 paragraphs which are tight, when you spread it out, it's easier to read, and the chances of them staying on that post a little longer is probably the percentage is higher. I like adding, as much as some people don't, I like having emojis added to some of the content, because that also breaks things up and helps when people are skimming. They see, someone holding their hand in their face and that type of thing. They know that, oh, what's the tone of that? They can see the tone based on the emoji. Some experts say, no, don't do that. Some say yes. Sometimes I'm on the sometimes. If it makes sense, use it. The one thing people have been doing too is putting hashtags in the middle of your posts. Don't do that. That's very hard to understand. And if you're already struggling to skim, to break up a sentence with a hashtag in the middle of it is a little harder, and it really doesn't make sense.
So Jamie, talk about the kind of content that we should be posting. Like, I know there's different kinds of ideas on content.
So you want to do engaging, you want people to feel connected. So you want to personalize it as much as possible. You want to use your own voice, not a ad voice all the time. You want to be interactive. So you want people to actually connect with you and comment on your post, or possibly repost it. The bottom of the post is a repost. They send it out to their network, so forth and so on. Same thing goes with it when you're doing the posting in the groups. Again, if you're in an attorney group, don't post things about, whatever other hobbies you have. Keep it to that group type. Don't go out and post things that don't make any sense to that group, because you're not going to get any traction on it. It's just a waste of time at that point.
Right.
So the stuff that Jim's posting, Jim does the long form, he does the articles, he does the short forms with apostille work with pictures, telling the story as well. So you want to add images to your post. Don't post something without an image if you can't. Jim and I were talking prior to the call, and we've talked about this in the past. He still shakes his head, like when him and his wife went to Hawaii last year. He posted pictures from Hawaii. Jim, what are your most impressionable posts?
Yeah, that was it. It was phenomenal. It was like thousands of people that saw that.
Right. And reason being is, come on, how many, we've all sit behind a desk, or we've all worked in a corporate world. We get a little bored, to see someone's personal life and a beautiful picture of Hawaii while we're stuck behind a desk. I think that speaks volumes. So it's a mix of different content. It's not the same. No, don't promote the business over and over again. Add stuff in the industry news, ChatGPT and title industry. How that's changing. That could spark people's interests, and tagging people in your posts. So, an experiment, if you want to do an experiment, you can find something about LinkedIn or write something about LinkedIn and tag me in it, tag Jim in it. And you do it and you just put the person's name, highlights it within the post, just like any other platform. But what happens is my network will also see that. So the impressions and the more eyes could possibly see that post based on you tagging people. And while I'm talking about it, let's keep going with hashtags. Hashtags are important on LinkedIn. Where Google My Business, are they important, Jim?
No.
Nope. So, but there is a rule. Most experts will tell you 3. I say 3 to 6, because if you want to, if you've got something that you're posting and you're trying to attract the customers that you want to work with, but you also want to make a point about the material that you posted about, and a hashtag might make sense. You can go over the 3, but 3 is usually a good number to keep in mind to help attract more eyes on that post.
Well, hit the idea behind consistency and why that's important.
The consistency is critical for building a strong LinkedIn network. That one.
Yeah.
You should aim to post regularly. You should engage on a regular basis. You should participate in groups. So it's all about consistency. So, Jim, how many times do you tell people to post a week on Google My Business?
I mean, if you're a pro, 3 times.
3. Same goes. And the other thing, if you really want to, because, all right, so let me dig into your minds a little bit. We always are told what to do, but we're never given the information to maybe help you narrow things down so your to-do list is a lot smaller. So if we're telling you to do 3 posts a week on LinkedIn is a professional network. Does it make sense that if you're an insomniac and you're up at 3 a.m., does it make sense to post on LinkedIn at 3 a.m. in the morning? 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Right.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday is your post. Keep it simple. Don't go outside the box. Some people might tell you all times, days of the weeks and all that stuff. Yeah, you are going to get more impressions. You are going to get more eyes, but without stressing yourself out, just keep it on business hours. Weekends don't count on LinkedIn. Yeah, they do, but they don't.
It's kind of fun to play with the different hours that you post, because if you think about people who are sitting in an office or professionals, are like, about 10 o'clock, 10:30, they're thinking coffee and donuts, and they're starting to slow down for a moment, and so they go get that. They're checking their phone. How many times a day does this thing get checked? And I think, those hours are kind of important. So I'm not saying I'm an expert in when to post. Posting is the most important thing, not worrying about the times, but yeah, posting is huge. Jamie, we're right up at 45 minutes. So let's open up to some Q&A here so we can have some people talk about or ask some questions for you. But before we do that, LinkedIn there's a lot of things to LinkedIn, and I'm learning stuff every day from Jamie about LinkedIn and things that I need to do. And I don't know where you guys are at in your digital marketing or your understanding of LinkedIn, but I think that getting somebody that has expertise in that field and flattening that learning curve as quick as you can, so you can take advantage of LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has just been great for me. I'm not going to say it's like making my month dollar-wise, but I'm making new connections that I've never had, and I'm getting more people looking at my stuff. So, in fact, the other day I sent Jamie, I did a post, and I watched who was liking it, and it was like escrow officer, title, attorney. I was like, see, it's working. People are starting to see who I am. So Jamie, maybe just take a minute to talk about, what what you have to offer and how you can help people kind of get that same result that I'm getting.
Yeah. So I have a class coming up next week, the 14th, 8 to 9:30. In the class, what I like to keep things free flowing. So I say an hour and a half. It probably go 2 hours with Q&A and everything else, that type of thing. But if I like people to come to class with a little pre-work done. Like, I don't know how to do this. I don't feel comfortable to do X, Y, Z. Let's share the screen and let's work through it. Because I think most of us all here have taken the basics, right? But, you know, I'm not here to critique anybody's profile. I mean, if you want, reach out to me separately. We can have a separate conversation with it. But you got to remember keywords. So when we look at a profile, we're looking at the top to bottom. We're looking at the banner. We're looking at the profile picture. Does everybody know that you can actually put a couple second video in on your static photo?
I got to do that.
If everybody can get, when you get a chance, go to mine. And if you hover your mouse over my static picture, you'll see a picture of me and Trooper. You'll see a video of me and Trooper. So you can do whatever you want. So if you get someone to videotape you doing a signing, you can do what you're doing in the industry. I chose to do something that I love, which is my animals. So that type of thing. This shows a little more personal touch type situation. And there's your heading. Your heading should be listed in there. It should tell just below your picture. It should actually say what you do. I'm a mobile notary in New Jersey, loan signing agent, fingerprinting, and I use brackets in between. Your job title should be listed in there. LinkedIn does have a creator mode that should be turned on, which comes with a premium account, by the way. You can only turn it on during that time frame. But with that, you can actually what you talk about. So like in mine, I'll say I talk about, it's a hashtag talk about LinkedIn. Jim's got Google My Business in there, that type of thing. Let me drop the link in there. Yeah, but you know, your about section is the most important thing with your profile, folks. It's definitely where you have 2,600 characters to talk about yourself in first person, what you do, what problems you can solve for your customers, and your keywords. That's where your keywords go, and is that in that about section.
Hey Jamie, do you have your link to the class?
The class, yeah. I just dropped it in the chat.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
So guys, Jamie, talk about the price, because everyone's going to want, oh, how much is it?
So for anybody in the class that hears my voice, $49.
Okay, normally tonight. What is it?
No promo code, no nothing. When you go hit the link, it will take you, and you will buy the ticket for $49.
There you go. LinkedIn is a long game, guys. I think there's two important things you've got to know about as a notary. You got to have, at the bare minimum, you better have your Google Business profile tuned in, and you better have your LinkedIn profile tuned in, and you better be using both of those to the best of your knowledge and your ability. Because those two things, Google Business is more of the short game. Your Google or your LinkedIn profile is more of the long game. So make sure that I dropped Jamie's email down there. If you guys got questions, make sure you reach out to Jamie, ask questions. He's also dropped his link for his class there. What did you say, 49?
49, yeah.
49.
And we'll do, you know what, again, I'm not about doing just a static class where I do all the talking. I like interactive. So come with questions, come with things that we can actually do and work with, because it's your class. It's not my class. And, you know. Well,
Jamie, it's certainly structured to show people how to, you know, optimize your profile. But Jamie's teaching style is a lot like like mine. If you like kind of how I do things, you've been in my class, or maybe if you don't, that's not a good example.
Why are you here?
If you like that kind of that boots on the ground, let's get this done kind of approach, that's what you're going to get. So let's also talk about a question up here. Betsy, she asks, she's not currently paying for LinkedIn. Is it worth paying for the upgrade? And what are the benefits?
So I'm going to say right off the get-go, no, don't don't go spend money on premium unless you're going to use it. What you get that's different, you get a few extra features that might be beneficial to you. But when I talk to you about the prices of the plans, the two business plans, you might choke because one's $100 a month, the other one's I think $139, $129 a month.
Oh.
I currently use the Sales Navigator portion of that. So, and in that, it's a LinkedIn on the free version has a customer relationship management that you can use for free. So you can save folks, you can save leads and work off from them. Sales Navigator is LinkedIn search on steroids. You get to see a lot more information on that person, and information may be collected from other data points within the industry as well. Give you an example, email addresses. Email addresses on the personal profile might be jamie@gmail.com. What I might see in Sales Navigator would probably be the actual email address for the corporation they work with. So you can get benefits, but if you're not to the point where you're generating impressions like Jim and myself, Jeff is growing that as well. Eileen is working on that as well. I know there's some other folks in the room that work on that. I suggest not spending that money. It would be a waste of money right now if you don't have your profile optimized.
I would be safe to say you need to be at least like a high intermediate to advanced user to really take advantage of that.
Yeah,
you got to be confident about that, what you're going to be spending that money with. Are you going to really utilize all of that? But
again,
I think
what's your ROI, return on investment? Are you make back that $70 a month?
Yeah, you know that the LinkedIn is a long game, so it's something that you're putting money into that's going to build for the long term. So when you're ready to go with the paid version, go for it. Just make sure you're taking advantage of all of those benefits that you get. Just don't pay for a subscription. So,
the other thing too is that the search box on the free or on LinkedIn without the Sales Navigator is a very detailed search box, and then when their filters automatically pop up below that. So if you're looking for people, if you put in escrow officers, click on the person people. Then if you're looking for local, you can actually put in your city and state under location. If you're looking for a company,
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. You know what? I think that would be a great demonstration. Let's have you share your screen. Can you do that? And let's do a search for escrow officers in somewhere. I don't care. And just show how you refine that search down to see these different people. Now, here's the opportunity, guys. You have local escrow officers that are on LinkedIn. I guarantee you, the people that are the most successful are on LinkedIn and they're watching stuff. So, so Jamie, if you want to kind of demonstrate that would be great.
So, all right. So let me just start. Does everybody know the difference between the first, second, and third? When I'm talking about the after person's name, the first?
No, go for it.
So Earl White and I are first connections. All right. So first connections means I'm connected to him. He's connected to me. We can see each other's information back and forth. Second position. So if this was a second here, it would be you don't have a direct connection with them, but someone in your network is connected with them.
Oh.
And then if this said third, neither you nor anybody in your network are connected to that person.
But they're showing in your feed somehow.
Are you going to focus on generating leads from your firsts, second, or thirds? I'll answer seconds and thirds, twos and threes. So we do that. Does anybody want to use their city and state? Come off mute and give me a city and state. I can't type.
Yeah.
Palm Coast, Florida.
Palm Coast, Florida. Now watch this, guys. This is where you can start, like moving a needle for your LinkedIn. If you just do this little trick here.
Right. So here it brings up the search. We're not seeing anything that we want. So we want to go to there's all the filters, and there's a button for filter. So we're looking for people. So when I did escrow officer, 48,000.
That's a few.
Now we're looking for locations. What was the city again? I'm sorry.
Palm Coast.
Palm.
Yep, Palm Coast, Florida. This is gold, guys. I don't know if you're doing this already, but if you're not, you should.
So you have 7 results in your city. All right, so that's 7. How quick can you save those profiles and move on to something else and expand that territory? So what other towns are around you? So you want to go back up here and you want to add your other towns to this.
Yeah, let's hear another town. Who said that?
Who said Palm Coast?
I did. I have Daytona and St. Augustine.
Daytona? Oh, Daytona, we should blow that right out of the water, right?
Thank you, gentlemen. Great content.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. This is a great, and there you go. I'll put it.
We added 10.
Oh, 10.
So let's just, here's your seconds and thirds, right? Connections. So you're always looking for your connections, because if you're connected to any loan officers in your area and your firsts, you don't want them in this list. So do your second and third. We drop to 14 because I have connections of folks already. So I dropped, right? Make sense? So here I have 12 additional advanced filters because of this sales navigator. I don't want to
because nobody has
go that out, but there is another tool with more information and more tools to use.
Okay, all right. So we're here, and this is great because if you're just first time learning how to do this, your eyes should be like wide open. And if you're like, I just haven't done this, your eyes should be wide open. Jamie, can you speak to just briefly about, okay, I want to connect someone and I connect with them. What's the message? What should I be saying? Should I tell them everything about my mobile notary business, or what should I do?
So I'm going to use Kirsten. I'm going to use your profile because you're the first in line here. Kirsten and I got your link off the chat, right? So we know that. So don't connect with someone without sending a message is what you're told to do. Sometimes it's okay just to send the connection. People usually will get them and open it up. They know whatnot. But the professional way is click on the connect. Here it is. I can either send the connection directly to Kirsten or I can add a note. And I can do hi. Typing and talking, I'm horrible at it, just like chewing gum and walking. You would just put a note there. Hi, Kirsten. I would just say, hi, Kirsten. Nice to meet in Jim's class on Wednesday night. I would love it if we could connect. My advice is do not sell in the first contact. Do not sell. Just establish a connection. Hi, so-and-so. I'm a notary in Somerset, New Jersey. I'm looking to expand my professional network. I think we could work together in the future. Jamie. Bang. Done. Send it out that way. Don't
you guys
sell.
Get that? That's it. Don't sell. Tell them what you are, where you're at, and ask for a connection. Boom.
And then let your content and your posting start generating the thoughts of you. And then if you want to do a small email campaign and write an email and do LinkedIn messages, you're more than welcome to do that, because now you have a direct connection with that person. Chance of them connecting, probably pretty good. Chance of them replying to an email that you sell first out of the chute, they probably won't care. They probably won't give you the time of day.
Right.
Wait till you establish some more impressions of that. And one other thing I want to show, we keep throwing out impressions. That's one thing I hate. Don't use acronyms. Don't use things people don't understand. If I told you impressions all night, what the hell are they? What is it? LinkedIn has done a hell of a job over the past year of updating the analytics. Used to be, this is stuff you used to get, a lot of the stuff you used to get on the paid, but they realized people weren't paying for it, but they wanted it. So they gave you quite a bit of information on the free version. So I have the paid version. On the free version, you can only see the first 3 people that viewed your profile. So there's 352 people in here that have looked at my profile over the past 90 days. I can see every single one of these people. On the free plan, you will not be able to see the names or anything along those lines. So if you've exhausted all other avenues searching for leads, then you can use this. Pay for the premium and work it that way. But again, I'm not here to tell you to spend money that you don't want to spend. Jim and I were just talking about that, how you have to go through your credit card statement and get rid of all the subscriptions you have. But here's what we're talking about when we talk about impressions. We watch what our posts are doing. I'm down a little bit, but it's already taken into account my what's tomorrow, Thursday, from last week. I'm down 79% by impressions, but this is over 7 days, right? We look at these posts. I did a poll. Polls, infographics, carousel posts with multiple pictures in it are some of the hottest content you can post on LinkedIn. Keep that in mind. I know we're running a little over, sorry.
Yeah, let's answer one more question here, and then we're going to wrap up tonight. This has been really good. So I wanted to ask, she says, I work a full-time job and my employer isn't aware I have a notary business. Uh-oh. A lot of my colleagues are on LinkedIn. What do you suggest I include in the about page? Is there a way not to follow people if they request to follow you, or can people see what I write that don't follow me?
All right, so if you pulled up my profile and you see the follow button on mine, so there's no way, so that's part of the creator mode. So you can turn the creator mode on and off. But if you're looking to do business lead generation, it's always good to have that creator mode turned on, and the follow button will be on your profile. Now, those of you that have clicked tonight, follow. If you want to connect with me, you have to go to the more button, all the way to the 3 buttons, drop down box, find the connect, and then send me a connection. Because I'm wearing 2 hats, right? I'm trying to attract customers from small business notary, small business whatever, to talk about LinkedIn to them. But I also am a notary, so I have that network to also worry about. So for me to have followers from both sides of the house, it's fine. Again, what I said earlier, you can go to your followers, you can look at your followers in your network and work those. I've connections, connects, and followers. I can work off that list there as a lead generation.
Okay.
Also, you can follow hashtags too, folks.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hashtags.
Right. Well, hey, we have gone. I want to honor everybody's time here tonight, and make, I like to start on time and end on time most of the time. So let's go ahead and wrap up tonight. Jamie, you did just a fabulous job. I learned a lot. We covered a lot of territory. I think LinkedIn personally and professionally is something you should be paying attention to, and you should be working on. I think you'll get the most bang for your buck out of LinkedIn for sure. I don't know, anybody disagree with that? I mean, I hope not. if you are at the point with you're just not quite sure about what to do with LinkedIn, you want to learn more about how to optimize your LinkedIn, then I'm going to say you need to take Jamie's course, invest $50 into his course and learn a new skill, because this is what's going to help propel you. Now, we are in the moment, we are in kind of a slow period in the economy. What a better time to, utilize your downtime to improve all of these platforms like LinkedIn. So Jamie, you want to drop the link to your course back down below in the chat for me?
The other thing, I just posted a Adobe file, a link as well. There's 22 tips in there, folks. 22 ways to use LinkedIn, and just things that cross. I didn't write half of it. I edited it. I created and made it my own. But these are things that I've come across from other people that use LinkedIn and how they're using it. So it's yours.
Okay, there it is. Oh, yep, you just posted. So I just posted too. So everybody grab the link before we shut this down so you have it. And Jamie, drop your email and your contact info there. Do that real quick. And we had just a fabulous turnout tonight. I appreciate every one of you for being here. A lot of you, I know, we've taken my course. We've chatted on Clubhouse together. We've been, and you've come to my marketing videos, and I appreciate your support and being here. So with that, Jamie, do you have anything you'd like to wind up with?
I have to say thanks for Jim for putting this together, because he's been a good student, and we talk a lot about things, and I sometimes don't do follow through, and Jim's always kept me on the straight and narrow. So thank you. It's a pleasure to always talk with you, and and all the faces. I know a lot of faces. I don't know all the names, but I've seen a lot of the names in Clubhouse and all that. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the link to the Adobe file I sent to you.
That's a freebie.
That's a freebie.
Pick that up.
If you don't have a blank screen and a Word doc, and you're copying and pasting other people's stuff and then kind of working it to make it your own magic, keep your notes, you should really be doing that, because it pays off. Be able to share that content, and it's free. It's simple stuff, but hopefully it'll keep you out of the weeds. Like Jim said, it'll they'll crush that learning curve down a little bit on you.
Yeah. Do whatever you can. Take advantage of Jamie's offer, because Jamie's offer is worth a whole lot more than $50, guys. But
come with homework. I want homework.
Yeah, well, okay.
I want
Don't tell them that just yet.
I want to work through things with you. I want to get you started. I hate when you go to some of these things, folks, and they tell you what to do, but they don't show you. And then you sit at your desk until 2 o'clock in the morning, banging your head against the wall, like, what the hell did I get into, and how do I get to what they did? So yeah. I want to, people call it holding hands on that. No, I want to be in the trenches with you. I've been in the struggles. I still struggle. Jim will bring something up that LinkedIn is done, and I still what? I'm caught off guard because it's changing. So,
hey, that same thing happens to me with Google. Google's changing all the time. Someone will call me and say, "Hey, this changed." And I was like, okay, I better go look at that. So anyway, let's call it a night, guys. I want you to go back to your families, back to whatever you were doing. And again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Have a great evening, everyone. See ya. All right. All right, we're going to hang out here for a second until everyone goes. I'm going to stop recording.
At one point, I thought Jeff had his own, put his own picture on